Well, the sun is out here at the Shell V-Power Motorsport Park. It's round 4 of the Hi-Tec Oils Super Series here in South Australia. And the TA2 muscle cars are down there on the grid, getting ready for what is race number 5 this weekend as we put our A drivers back in the seats. And we're going to battle out all again this afternoon with a big 25 endurance race coming your way later on this afternoon. Jamie, great to have you here. What's the anticipation like?
Wow. Already gone off this weekend with the racing that we've seen and a bit of controversy in the first of the Enduros last night. And more about that down on pit lane with our team, Jared and Mel.
It has been an absolutely astonishing turn of events in that final race for TA2 muscle cars. We saw some 5 cars getting caught up around turn 3 on lap 1 of what was supposed to be a very long race, getting shortened down to 9 laps. That hasn't been all the action though. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from this weekend's event.
Well, let's have a look. All thanks to Hi-Tec Oils. And this was obviously our race yesterday, endurance race. It was meant to be 20 laps. And look at Jordan Cox on the left-hand side. Pushed onto the grass, but it didn't stop them. They went almost 6 wide coming into turn number 1. And there was plenty going on. Zach Bates overshot the corner out on the grass to kick things off.
And that wasn't the end of it, because right about now, it all went wrong for so many cars. And there is more to go on about that through the rest of today, because we're still sitting on some provisional results for that one. But so much car damage, it was not funny. Went to the restart, the pit window changed in and out, less laps. Haynes led away off the restart, and it was all on.
Yeah, Jordan Cox, look at the intensity in the number 4 Crusher Developments vehicle. He was really pushing hard at the start before we saw Todd Hazelwood make his way into the pack as well, worked his way back through. But in the background there, we just saw Tommy Heyman, who was started at the back of this race,
he was
position number 22.
He was absolutely blazing. Started from the back after a DNF in his first race and went 22nd to second. This is the crucial part right at the end. For a moment, Josh Thomas had the race lead out of the pits and then ran off at turn 1, handing the lead back to Haynes and allowing Heyman into the second position. Heyman chased down Haynes to the end. It was a stunning last couple of laps. The 3 car was parked up on the outside on the run home, but Haynes provisionally taking the victory for race number 3.
Well, we're going to wait and see how that all unfolds later. Today, though, we had a race this morning, and this is where it all ended. Our B drivers, or our co-drivers in the car for this one, Jared Hughes, you can see him on the left-hand side. Tim Brook on the outside in a very damaged and wounded number 22, but it's managed to make it back out on the racetrack. Now, Tim Brook did fantastic on the start, went around the outside, saw Todd Hazelwood in the 169, wasn't going to muck around on this, was he? He really wanted to push forward in that car, and he did really well. Under brakes here, where there was a big moment with a lock-up as he went down the gears. We're still unsure whether this was a bit of a redress there, because he opened the door up for Jared Hughes to take that position back.
I think it was. I think there was potentially enough contact there. Now, Jason Pride went around as the 54 of Nile went off track as well. There was a drama for the 54 because he ended up on pit lane with an issue. So Tim Brook was a little bit susceptible. Initially, Hazelwood went down the inside for a pass. Jared Hughes came to play as well.
He wasn't mucking around, Jared Hughes. He needed to follow him through. And then in the background, we saw Elliot Barber as well in the 63. He was really impressive throughout this race. And I suppose he was just keeping his calm about it and keeping that car very stable. But Jared Hughes, well, for a moment there, we didn't know what had happened. Todd Hazelwood, a little bit of smoke coming out the front of the car, and he just seemed to lack a little bit of pace after that. So carrying a mechanical issue at the end of that race really hurt his lap times. Jared Hughes really pounced on that, took the lead and got himself a win.
Second win for the weekend for Jared Hughes, paired with Tyler Cheney for the weekend. Mechanical issues for Todd Hazelwood. Yeah, there is so much going on.
I tell you what, there is we can't wait for the race to unfold, this one as well as we go into the afternoon. Plenty more categories to come your way. Let's check out, though, what the Shell V-Power Motorsport Park lap looks like on the international circuit. 4.95 kilometres to get around, 18 corners. Let's see how it goes.
How you going, guys? Josh Haynes here, driver of the number 37 TA2 Herzog Steel Mustang. We're here at Shell V-Power Motorsport Park, and I'm going to take you for a lap. Coming down the straight here, grab 4th gear, lay it on the brakes as low as you can, down the gears into 2nd gear, get it turned in, don't sacrifice too much turn here, get ready for turn 2, down into 1st here for turn 3, try and focus on getting a nice exit. Grab second, look out for this car on the left. Grab third, this is a fast sweeper through here. Run it right out to the wide. Nice under brakes, pull it up here for this tight corner. It's pretty tricky because it's off camber. Down to first gear, try again, get a nice exit. Up through the gears. This third gear change is pretty tricky. Through the sweeper here. Nice big slide. Watch out for this exit curb here. Bring it back to the right, get ready for this next section of corners. Nice big slide here, probably not too quick. Up through the gears again, grab third. This one's pretty cool because it's a pretty nice cambered corner. Blind exit, so really tricky to get your exit right. Pull this up nicely, don't sacrifice too much of your corner entry. Come down here, again look out for this bit of traffic. Up to third, nice exit. Come down to the second last corner here. Down through the gears, get it pulled up, really tricky one, so easy to overshoot. Up the second, and then really focus on getting a nice exit onto the main straight. Thanks so much for taking a lap around Shell V-Power Motorsport Park in the Herzog Steel Mustang. Have a good weekend.
Well and truly underway here for the Formula RX8, the final race of the weekend for them. Race number 4, and we've got our first lap run and done with Brock Payne in the lead over Rob Bowden, who are 2 championship leaders when it comes to Formula RX8 for the 2024 season. We're going to wait and see how they fight that out. Brock Payne now, he's on an impressive run of wins though, because he just keeps ending up at the front end of all of these races. It is now 7 wins in a row and going for an 8th one here at the Hi-Tec Oil Super Series at Tailem Bend. Well, the Shell V-Power Motorsport Park has really thrown some exciting racing with this category here, and so many to go through. Brad Harris has shown he's got an opportunity here. He's been hovering around that position 3 all weekend. Justin Lewis has had to work his way through the pack in the Yellow Express, the man with the van.
Terry Derwin's got a problem in the 42. Sorry, Thomas Derwin, not Terry. Might have missed a gear because he's back up to pace now, but 3 cars went by him there, so Thomas Derwin having a little moment out there on the racetrack. So Payne, fastest lap of the race at a 2:15.4784, and he's topped every sector, so just complete and utter dominance.
You can see how dominant Justin Lewis was last year in the RX8 series, and now he carried that on the start of this year, but just falling a little bit behind as the competition's getting better and better, and there's so many new players coming in. What gets me is the amount of these kids in this category that have come out of sim racing.
Yeah, sim racing and kart sport. Jackson Shaw making a little error there at 6. Oh, and Derwin likewise has gone off track. So, yeah, he's got his hands full at the moment because he's had a couple of issues out there already in this race, which will be shortened again with a little bit of time lost earlier on in the afternoon with an accident in the Legends cars, which are actually due to come back out on track next, followed by the final race of the Australian Drivers' Championship, and then the big one that we're heading for, the final race of the weekend, race 6, the 25-lap Enduro for the TFH Hire TA2 muscle cars framed by Hi-Tec steel framing.
Yeah, a couple of shortened races here this afternoon, unfortunately, for our categories here, so we can make some time up. Of course, the 25-lap Enduro, a big event here. The only 2-driver TA2 muscle car event in the world that we've seen. There will be some driver changes going on. There's some single drivers in there as well who have to adhere to some of those pit stop rules, so they don't get a clear advantage. We'll wait to unfold all that this afternoon with some big prize money on the line. Brock Payne still leading this one out of Bowden, Harris, Connell, and we're on screen now. Who that looks like? That was Jackson Shaw.
Yep. So he's had a few little dramas. Actually had a brake caliper bolt break earlier on in the weekend and damaged a wheel. Saw him in the pits for race number 1. So he's been sort of on the comeback trail throughout the day. Normally driven by Diesel Thomas, who's up in Brisbane celebrating his birthday this weekend.
Ed Philippi on the outside, the young gun out of Victoria. Just putting a lot of this team together with him and his family. Not a massive motorsports family in terms of the heritage of physically racing, obviously motorsport fans, but great for them to put a lot of support behind their son, who's come out here in the RX8 series for the first time in 2024.
So we're on the final lap here for Formula RX8, brought to you by TFH Hire. Payne, your race leader from Bowden, Harris Connell and Justin Lewis in the 5th position. Justin's had a podium this weekend, but this will be what win number for Brock Payne in a row? Number 8. Wow.
Well, he's just got to get this lap finished. And
2 rounds back to back and has not been beaten. Came into the weekend carrying a pretty heavy flu. Hasn't been that well as we go back on board with Ivan Bantagiato in the number 89 machine. So he's still chasing down Vickers. I think Ivan came into this race with a couple of little issues himself. We weren't actually too sure if he was going to start the race.
Yeah, so they're not running under full power in that car at the moment, still ironing out a few bugs on the new build. So just to have him back out on track and circulating, getting some points out here in the series. Brock Payne looking pretty comfortable out in front, and he's just getting plenty of seat time. It's a busy workshop down there. Remember, they've got 2 RX8s and they've got 2 TA2 muscle cars down there in their pit bay too. So there's plenty of hustle and bustle, I'm sure. They're jumping over to the cars to help out with anything that might happen on those as well. We saw there's been a fair few running repairs on the TA2 muscle cars after yesterday's Enduro, where there was some massive collision there for 5 cars, but there were some minor brushes where something could have gone a lot worse.
Oh, Canales has gone off in the 88. I was just about to say, yeah, South Australia's run out of 3M race tape.
And pressure pack cans. Old Bunnings might be selling a few too. And here we go, checkered flag now for race number 4 of the TFH Hire Formula RX8. Rob Bowden celebrating another 2nd position, so he'll go 8 from 8 in 2nd position behind Brock Payne. And
pretty much.
That's the championship at the moment. That should separate him by about 5 points now at the end of this weekend. So
I think it was 3 going into today. So yeah, it'll extend over another couple of races. So yeah, it's just 5 points. Still not a lot in it. So Bowden knows with that result, he is still close in that championship chase.
There we go. As they start to head across the finish line, we'll wrap things up. Unfortunately, Ed and Philippi not going to get to 6th position. He'll end up in 7th there. Tom Derwent, well, that's a bit of a fight back after that excursion off the road. He looked like he missed a gear possibly earlier on, lost a position or 2. Good to see the field, though, getting out there. This is the results of race number 4 of the TFH Hire Formula RX8. Brock Payne with another win, followed by Rob Bowden. That seems to be becoming the repetition of the series at the moment. Brad Harris back up into 3rd after a DNF in race 2. We see Jeff Connell in 4th, Justin Lewis, Jackson Shaw, Ed and Philippi, Thomas Derwent, Brett Thomas and Paul Spiteri in 10th position. Back to Shad Hassan, Stacey Vickers, Ivan Vantagiato and Jamie Canellis. And unfortunately, not all of our RX8s making it to the final race of today, but they've been out in the field. They all team together down there, though, to make it happen. Let's have a look at some of the Hi-Tec Oils highlights, though, of this race number 4. No surprise, Brock Payne got a good start. Rob Bowden, very similar speeds. We saw the difference in them yesterday, didn't we? Where one of them, Brock Payne got the advantage, one Rob Bowden. This time, they are side by side, and a little bit of gentleman-like sportsmanship in the background, because we could have seen 4 or 5 wide. Justin Lewis had a big moment there. Great start up into 3rd position in the Yellow Express RX8. Derwent was on the outside. Harris was back in 5th position. He started this race out of 3rd, so it wasn't a great start for him.
That's where Lewis dropped back to 5th. So he actually had a couple of cars splitting, and so he may have actually missed a gear change on that one. Oh, they went 3 wide, and there was contact there from Lewis to the 74 of Harris. Got away with it, but yeah, Harris was very, very sideways on that one.
Sorry, Harris starting out 8th position in this race, actually, so he had to do a field of work. Rob Bowden had a bit of a challenge here for a moment. You can see him got the move done on Brock Payne early in the race, but maybe a slightly different tyre strategy. Brock Payne managed to hold him out as they went around the right-handers on the inside line. Everyone behind Brad Harris will be saying, please get involved in this fight so I can catch up to you. Thomas Derwent decided to go exit stage left, had a little bit of an excursion out onto the grass for a moment. And then it was Canellis in the 88 in the final stages of the race, had a spin out onto the grass. So he ended up a little bit further down where we probably expected him to be at the start of the race after what was a great start. And great to have the TFH Hire Formula RX8 back here for round number 4 of the Hi-Tec Oils Super Series. And let's have a look at the Legend Cars Australia starting grid for their race number 4. Robbie Hogan's going to take it off with Scotty Melville alongside. It's Aidan Williams and Lockie Ward. Dylan Thomas and Asker Sendel on the 3rd row. Benny Goodrich and Brendan Hourigan on the 4th fourth row. Before we head back to our fifth row out there of Duckworth and Scotty Morgan. Now, that is the 160, though. It won't be the number 10 we saw of Mark Duckworth, who had that big moment in the last race. Now, it's hard to keep your breath when it comes to the Legend Cars Australia, because we've already seen what happened in that last one. The races throughout the weekend probably haven't had that much excitement in terms of contact, but I'll tell you what, there's always 4 or 5 positions being changed every corner. Start here. Very, very important when it comes to getting the toe down there, the slipstream, using the aero effect. The ones on the left-hand side may try to shoot over to that wall. It's going to run out very quickly, and we're underway. The lights are out. We are good to go. Rob Hogan going to get the lead very early in this one after finishing the last race in front. Scotty Melville. But are we going to see 8 wide at the start of it? It's looking a bit more sedate on this one. Further back they are. Have a look at them all the way out to the grass on the left-hand side, and coming in, Rob Hogan got the lead. Lockie Ward up into second maybe, or third, second now over Aidan Williams around the outside in the number 15. Scotty Melville back to fourth, and here we go in fifth position. Dylan Thomas got to run down the inside into 3.
Look at the wheel work. He's working really, really hard. Lachlan sort of laid back off that start. There was a good car length in front of him, but he might have just got to run down there. But yeah, if you want to fill a racetrack in that shot, just put Legends out there. That'll do it every time.
Well, it's like ants, isn't it? They're everywhere. They just keep multiplying.
Well, we saw some issues in the previous race, especially under brakes here into 6. Ryan Pring has made a massive amount of spots already in the first. It's not even the first third of the lap. I reckon Pring is up inside the top 15. He started 23rd, 24th.
Look at Hurrigan there on the outside too. It looks like he's back in about 6th position. Trying to get a move done, though, on the 97 of Goodrich.
We haven't seen much of the one this weekend. Hurrigan's had a very, very quiet weekend here at the Bend. But he's now back into the equation here in race number 4. They've still got a 5th race to come later on this afternoon. All right, here's Lachlan Ward down the inside of Hogan. Back into the race lead, not for the first time this weekend. I think he's led every race. He's definitely won 2 of them. Was in the wars in the 3rd one. In a borrowed car is the 72s off track. Yeah, Darren Bradley.
Yeah, he was a bit further.
Oh, that's carrying some damage.
Yeah,
so
we could see some spin out before too. There was something in the background going on. So I wonder whether he's made contact with any other vehicle out there.
It's broken the front end, so broken kingpins or tie rods. The 2 front wheels will change in the different directions. A little bit more toe out than you would normally run with these cars. So I don't think he'll be going any further in this 4th race for the Legends, as Lachlan Ward runs a little bit wide off onto the main street. Hogan's got to run. It just killed all the exit speed, and Hogan slipped up the inside. See if he can get the lead back down into turn number 1 as they fly past the wall here at the Bend. Hogan has got the lead. Lockie actually got a 2nd draft. Hogan drafted him first. Lockie got back in the draft, and he got back in
at
front.
the back. Oh no!
That was the
That's
97
on the outside, but the 97 tried to climb him and bring Melville.
Goodrich in the 97.
He almost got sandwiched there, and he hit both back tyres of the cars in front and went up in the air. Luckily, that's come down. He's continued on. Unfortunate for Hurrigan, who loses a number of positions.
That's going to be between 180 and 200 kilometres an hour, I'm thinking. That was a scary, scary moment. Let's have a look at it here. So just further back in shot. So the one down the inside, oh yeah, it's just the sandwich effect. Melville was in there in the 81 as well. And poor old Brendan Hurrigan, nowhere to go, ended up out on the grass. But yeah, that was for the 97 of Goodrich. That was really, really lucky.
Ryan Pring already up to 9th position through this pack, though. He is really applying some pressure and trying to get through as best he can.
I think we got a safety car coming. I think we got a safety car coming.
That'll be Bradley too, sitting on the side of that track?
So. It was actually pretty close to the side of the racetrack, so I can only figure it is for the retrieval of that car. So that'll close this field up. Dylan Thomas looking really, really strong. Lachlan Ward out in front, looking for his 3rd win of the weekend out of 4 starts. So the safety car is definitely out on the racetrack.
Let's have a look at some of the Hi-Tec Oils replays here, as there's been a fair bit to try and decipher.
Oh,
wow, huge
that
impact.
Would explain the front end damage to the 72.
And that's why
what we didn't see was the rear end damage to the number 33
that's
of Spicer.
Chris Spicer, yeah, and it looks like he may have also possibly had to go into the pits. So there's a whole heap of...
I think he was already slowing because Riley Skinner went by him at 1,000,000 miles an hour. That Lachlan Ward's waving to the camera car.
Why not? He's probably getting a bit of direction from someone in the pit saying, mate, you're on TV.
Camera.
And unfortunately, this does look like it is going to be red flagged. We've got that from race control, though. We'll bring these cars into the pits. I'll turn off. Yes, massive complex here. So much to go on at the Bend, of course, with the drag racing off to the right-hand side there. Of course, we've got the go-karts on the left. Look, we're about to get underway with all our action of the Australian Drivers' Championship. And still then, stay tuned. We're going to have a short break.
Until you've driven the car, so you can explain how much grip it's got. It's very hard. They've got like downforce like you wouldn't believe, and ground effect and slicks, and so much grip. It's pretty mind warping, but once you get used to it, it's a very, very fun car to drive, and it creates very good racing.
The hyper races really come to existence because there was nowhere for people that were talented in motorsport but didn't have any money that could race. So we've, for the first time in history, people with go-karts, literally on a go-kart budget, can now drive in race meetings for the Australian Drivers' Championship based on their skill alone. There's no modern whiz-bang electronic technology in it. It's a gear lever, it's a go pedal and a stop pedal, and you look out the front of the car and make sure you know where you're going. It's that simple, you know. This is the track of, you know, all tracks here. So the guys are just absolutely wrapped. So to do this and then finish off at the new Wakefield circuit will be fantastic.
Hi and welcome back to Shelby Power Motorsport Park at the Bend, Tail and Bend, South Australia. We've got race 3 out on track for the 2024 Australian Drivers' Championship after some delays from the previous Legends race, unfortunately. So we are about to go racing here very, very shortly. The 4th round of the Hi-Tec Oils Super Series at this absolutely stunning facility in South Australia.
And it's going to be Damon Sterling, the championship leader, that will start out of pole position. He's had a good season so far, and he's continued that here this weekend. Hayden Crosland took his maiden win at Winton last time out, and he will start on the front row alongside him. He's come home strong in both of the first 2 races. Can he go with Sterling early? We will find out in this one. Brad Vaughan, Super 2 driver, Bathurst 1000 wildcard later on in the year. In fact, not that long, not that far away now, only just a few weeks. So he'll start out a 3rd ahead of Luke Claver. He's had a fantastic weekend so far. Dean Crook's having a few gremlins in his machine. I'll talk about that as the race progresses. So his former champion will start from 5th ahead of Hamish Leighton. Beyond that, we've got Brenton Davey and Bastian Treptow, Josh Gardner and Raphael Thomas Kadar rounding out the top 10. Beyond that, Bradley Smith, Hardy Kuhn, Nico French will be a non-starter. Same with Lucas Stasi. However, Peter Nolan's car has been repaired and he will be back out on the race circuit, making it 13 cars in this one.
Race 3 for the weekend. Crossland and Sterling have been the class of the field, and Brad Vaughan has not been too far away as well. In fact, won the first race of the weekend on debut in these cars. We are about to go green. A big headwind for these cars, and if anything, that wind direction has actually settled, so it is a true headwind right now, and it's not so gusty in the different positions as they fan out across the racetrack. And we go green with race number 3 for the Australian Drivers' Championship. Vaughan's down on the grass off the race start. And he's going to get jumped at definitely the 26 into the lead of Sterling. Crossland goes by him, but Vaughan living dangerously, and we got one going around.
Oh, a 2-round. There's another one further back, but that one that we're looking at, Davey in the number 24 machine. So in the switch between turns 1 and 2, the right to the left, a few cars have come together, but out front, the top 5 somehow remain the same and all stayed out of each other's way. But looking into the hairpin, as we cut back to the 27, that's the other car that was involved. That's Treptow, who started this one out of position number 8. Unfortunately, he's dropped down. There's some smoke out there, a delaminated tyre. That's for Peter Nolan, who started this one from the tail of the field. So there was certainly some front wings and rear tyres that came into contact, and the outcome is the puncture there for the number 23 machine. What a chaotic opening couple of corners.
Looks like it actually popped it off the bead. It was not seated on the rim at all. So the 24 of Brenton Davey, he is going no further with that one. So might have had some damage with that rotation down into turn number 1. Very, very wide there. Was that the 32 of Claver?
It was.
All I saw was a big flash of the monstrous rear wing on the back of it. So Hamish Leighton there.
There's the number 23, Nolan, trying to make his way back, but he's decided, I think, the safer option to pull off on the side of the circuit and try and get that out of harm's way. But Leighton, that we're looking at on the screen at the moment, sits in a very lonely 6th. The cars behind have all been caught up in drama, and those 5 ahead have absolutely no idea what's gone on behind. They have broken away from the field. There they are on the pit straight. So Damon Sterling leads the way. The margin 1.1 seconds at the end of the first lap. Brad Vaughan's a further 2.5 seconds back in 3rd, but up the inside comes Dean Crook. Good move on Claver.
So Dean Crook, he's had an up and down weekend. Former series champion, former Australia karting champion. His dad John is the brainchild behind this category, and no doubt Dean's been a big part of that as well. I'm seriously impressed with this race car. Like, John Crook's been around for a long, long time. Let's have a look at a replay of the start, and this is going to get very, very busy. So the first half of the field got through, definitely contact there. The 74 was involved, Bradley Smith. So I think that was the contact with the 24 of Brenton Davies. So I think certainly the 74 was the trigger with the contact there, and we saw Bradley Smith obviously delayed as well. Not too sure what part that's Nolan played in that with the 23.
Oh,
the tire up. Oh, Brad Vaughan's rotated. Brad Vaughan's, oh, that's an awkward part of the racetrack too, as the rest of the field are just screaming past the nose of the 77. That is not a good part of the racetrack to be stopped.
No, that's a Crofty corner, and he's right on the racing line there. That's where the full 7.77 kilometre circuit rejoins the circuit that we are using. Here is a replay. Lots of smoke coming from the back of that machine. Not sure if that's a contributing factor, but he turns it in. All looks all right. Then a bit of smoke over the the left rear, and around she went, just like a spinning top there. No way was he saving that one.
So Sterling again goes fastest, 1:54.609. Crossland's just gone purple to the 2nd sector. The gap is about 1.2 seconds as they complete this next lap. And Sterling down into the 53s, 53.7926. Crossland, though, goes faster with a 53.7328 by only 600ths.
I was talking to Crossland just before this race, and he was telling me he likes to set up a car that comes on strong late on. We've seen that so far this weekend, and in fact over the season really as a whole. And he is coming on strong at the moment. The problem is, due to the delay and the crash that we saw in Legend Cars Australia just before this, the race has been cut short to 5 laps.
He's going to run out of laps.
Exactly. He's only got 2 laps, unfortunately. So that's not what Crossland was after at all. And we can see around sector number 1, he is right there, he's close. Sterling, though, purple in that first sector, but by less than a 10th from Crossland. So these two are absolutely matching each other. This time, though, in the first couple of races, Crossland lost places on the opening laps. This time, he remained in 2nd. This is the closest he's been at this stage of a race all weekend. But as we say, with just a lap and a half now to go, the cutting in half of this race distance has really done him a bit of a dirty, unfortunately.
Oh, Sterling's living on the edge. He just dropped the left front off the edge of the track on turn in there. You run the risk of cutting a tyre if you get that curve too badly. Crossland, that beautifully presented number 6 machine. So as you say, if they've set up that car for a longer run to come on and be a little bit better later in the run, that's just going to be a moot point now, because he's just going to run out of race laps here. But Sterling's trying really, really hard out in front.
You can certainly still see him in the mirrors, and I think Crossland's there close enough that if Sterling does make a mistake, he can pounce on it. Behind that, Dean Crook is sitting in a lonely 3rd position.
So Sterling actually is extended over Crossland. Crossland, I wonder if Crossland thought the race was finished as well, because
I think
he
so.
was over a second and a half down on Sterling to the first sector split, and Sterling's gone 2 purple, so he's on an absolute flyer here. Fastest lap of the weekend. Pretty sure Crossland holds the lap record down in the late 150s. Look at the gap back to Crossland. So I think Crossland thought the same thing, but there was not actually a checkered flag out on the finish line.
What did they say? Race till you see the checkered flag.
The checkered flag, exactly. And yeah, if you don't, put the banker lap in, and that's the important one. So now we see the checkered flag. I'm going to guess Mr. Crossland's not going to be overly happy about that, because he was sort of chasing him down. I think he still would have run out of laps. But Sterling with the victory from Crossland, and a big gap back to, it should be Dean Crook in 3rd. There he is there in the predominantly red Hyper machine. Damon Sterling with the win from Hayden Crossland. Dean Crook in 3rd, Luke Laver in 4th position, Hamish Layton, Raphael Thomas Kadar, Josh Gardner, Hardy Kuhn, a troubled Brad Vaughan. Not sure if Brad actually made the finish with his issues, and Bradley Smith also with some issues in that one. I think we had 8 finishes for the 3rd race of the weekend for the Australian Drivers' Championships.
We're going to have a short break and be back soon. Don't go anywhere. Stay on the edge of your seats. Welcome back to the Hi-Tec Oils Super Series round number 4. TFH Hire TA2 muscle cars framed by Hi-Tec steel framing. This is going to come down to a 5-horse race over 25 laps for the $20,000. Remembering, though, the winner of this race also gets a bonus, $5,000 in AC Delco products. So it's not about the weekend for that. It's about this one 25 lap. It's 120 kilometres to get through in these cars. Fuel, we've spoken about it. It's not going to be on the limit, but it's going to be getting close to the limit. So they're going to be filled up. A lot of them are going to be having some tyres, a couple of green tyres on the car. Michael Coulter, well, what did Jared say? He's got freshies all round. So they've been saving those, especially with that incident yesterday in the Enduro where they were out in lap 1. Tom Heyman and Haynes will be on the front row there. With Haynes with that penalty yesterday, 5 seconds. Hazelwood and Thomas will be on the second row with Cheney and Hughes. Collier and Barber and Cheney and Bates alongside each other in the third row. There's back to Prosser with Crutch and Cox on the fourth row. Pride and Reedy on the fifth row of the grid. So 2 driver combinations and single driver combinations. This Lindstrom, unfortunately, in the 39 will not make it out for this race. It is done for the TDP Mobile Services Ford Mustang for this weekend. Kima McKeldin doing really well there in the 7th row too. They are starting to find that race car. They've been working on it. Like we said earlier, we've got that shock issue there they found yesterday, and they fixed that. Gardner and Brook back down on the 19th row of the grid in 18th position. That's
well, they were one of the cars
one.
that they were obviously DNF, so that's why they're starting so far back. Points-wise, they're not bad, but they might just be outside of that window for the overall victory based on what's about to happen here. So, the other driver has started this second Enduro race of the weekend. So, if one driver started yesterday, the other driver starts this one. So you've got Tim Brook in the Brad Gartman number 22. Crutcher will start the 4.
So how aggressive were they? And we spoke about it in driver's brief today. They were bumping together down the straight yesterday. It was a no-go, according to our stewards today. They are to separate. And how is the start going to be? The 2 young guns, the quick time, Tommy Heyman. He took out the Kubota Pole Award this weekend. He is on the inside out of pole position. Josh Haynes, the man of steel on the 37. Herzog Mustang on the outside. But look at the TFH boys. They are lined up and ready for a big line. Oh, Tyler Cheney moves to the outside. Graham on the outside to hit his father. There were some big words down in pit lane, and he is not going to take it easy on him on this rain. Heyman, can he get down the inside? He crosses over. We've got one wheel off on the dirt. That looks like Prosser, but he holds on to it. We get on board here with Tim Brook, though, in the Hi-Tec Oils 22, and already a bit of a bump and shove in turn number 1. There's a heap of them off already, and that's Des Collier, the 63 3.
Jason Pride involved, and Michael Coulter as well. Michael was at the rear of the field, but yeah, after telling all of the drivers at drivers briefing this morning to just lighten up a little bit, again, it's gone wrong at 1. So we've got to figure out who's sort of compromised here on this early stages of the lap, but certainly Brooke was in there. Looking at it, Prosser, who started 7th, he's a long way back, so he's had to take avoiding action on that as well. As we went on board there with Crutcher. Heyman out in front in the 30, chased by Haynes. And then it is Josh Thomas in the 3rd position.
Oh no, Hadley.
Brooke.
That's I think that's going to be Paul Hadley. No,
It's
Hugh McAllister in the car at the moment. And that's Brooke. Oh, Hayden Jackson as well. He has had such a bad run in 2024. It's not just this.
I think that's at 6.
We'll have to really try and get some footage of what's happened there.
I was talking to Hayden this morning, and I said to him, I was clapping here in commentary when he avoided yesterday's deal.
And they're not too far away from coming in contact, so let's hope there's no fluid on that corner either, because there's going to be a lot of fiberglass. Are we going to have any punches if they try and roll through that? This is going to play out to, lap number 1 again. A big problem here for the TA2 muscle cars, unfortunately. Everyone being super aggressive in the run for that $20,000 or the $5,000 AC Delco tools, and that Tim Brook, he's got back underway, so they'll be checking some of the gauges on their car, just making sure they've got oil pressure and the temperature's fine. Let's have a replay here of the start, though, and they were still 6 wide. Look at Graham on the right-hand side around Tyler Cheney. Dad's coming around saying, it's Father's Day. I'm taking that position. Tom Heyman covered a little bit there. I was looking at Prosser in the background, just got a smidge and a wheel off onto the dirt. Crutch sandwiched in the middle here. Des Collier, has he just clipped the inside there and brought himself unstuck?
Hard to see with that angle, but Tyler Cheney actually gave his dad the no argue on the run down into 1 and snicked up the inside, and then made side-by-side contact with Crutcher in the 4. There's where Prosser had to take avoiding action. He's got some damage to the back of the car.
I don't think there's too much contact there. I think everyone's avoided it who was behind him by the looks of it.
And this is the other at 6. This is at 6. So Domain Ramsey's locked up ahead of that. It's already happened there. So it's actually off the exit of 6. So I think someone's got turned around there potentially, because it's off the exit. It's not under brakes in.
Tim Brook in front, you think maybe he's been turned around. He's trying to start the car. We see the lick of flame there as it gets underway.
Oh, it's
a very sad-looking Camaro on the front.
Big time damage safety car. We are on safety car. So
experience really playing its part here in this endurance race. But we're underway with a restart here. Single file as they take off. Heyman will lead them out and set the pace. They're just waiting for that light to go. And here we go. You can hear the V8, the McLaren power plant fires up, and they head down the main straight here at the Shell V-Power Motorsport Park. And we have only completed 3 laps as we head into this one. How messy is it going to get coming into turn 1? Heyman's got through. Haynes has got through. Tyler Cheney goes through. I tell you what, Heyman, Haynes, they never sound very familiar. Let's call it Quick Time and the Man of Steel. But the Quick Time's out in front. Have a look on board here, though. This is Josh Thomas, teamed up with Todd Hazelwood this weekend in 4th position. And they are looking at the pointy end. They're still in the running for the $20,000 at the moment, so just trying to hold on to that 4th position.
They went into this final race 5th in the points to Main Ramsey with a big sideways moment to the inside of Matty McKeldin in the keen number 13. Back on board with Tim Brook. He's struggling with damage to that front splitter. He's back in the 15th position.
I don't reckon it's going to be damaged. I don't reckon he's going to be struggling with it for much longer, because if that keeps scraping away, that's just going to disintegrate very shortly. Here go the Man of Steel in 2nd position, though. The Herzog Mustang entry now. He's got championship to worry about. Heyman is not part of the championship.
Heyman's got nothing to lose. Absolutely nothing to lose, considering our pole sitter DNF'd in the first race.
Oh, no.
We got Jason Pride in the background. That was Jason Pride going around the Western Australian in the 14. Aaron Prosser looks like he's got a problem. He's slowing in the 91. So that's actually the leaders going by him. So Aaron Prosser, after a 7th place finish, he's going backwards as Pride rejoins the track. Prosser's back on the journey, so he's back up to speed. So whether he was trying to recover and get back around and just moved over for the leaders, he sort of got back in that queue and back underway. So Prosser's a lap down and in amongst the leading group at the moment. Russell Wright's got some damage to the front of the 69.
Yeah, Rusty Wright working around. Nick Lang.
Collier's going backwards. Collier's getting shuffled back through the field. Boy, there is so much going on here, right through from 1 to 22.
Forget about where they're sitting on the $20,000 round prize pool. Let's just keep going on the race at the moment here. And he'll pull in Josh Thomas. Not surprised there with quick time, but Bill has a brake lock up there. He's grabbed that crutcher in the number 4 machine, and look at Thomas. He is all over the back now. This one's going to become a little bit of a dogfight, and it's for position number 5.
5th and 6th.
Thomas down the inside.
Thomas down the inside.
Why slide
it? It stopped.
Oh, no.
Around contacts.
Let's hope no one else gets involved in this one. Crutcher's turned. Oh, Hollinger makes it through. Look at Rusty Wright. He might make a couple of positions out of this one.
Well, Thomas was committed. He got down there, and you could hear he was struggling to get it stopped, and he's made contact with Crutcher. Meanwhile, out in front, Heyman is still your race leader.
Brook back up into 10. Massive move there in the Hi-Tec Oils 22. He's starting to work his way back through the field.
Look at the front of it. It's not pretty.
It's not about being, but Hollinger gets back past Rusty Wright.
But it doesn't seem like it's really hurting it for outright lap speed, because he's going by some of those midfield guys. So trying to regroup and recover and get them into a better position.
Let's have a look at some of the Hi-Tec Oil replays here and see what happened. Josh Thomas had a big dive down the inside. It looks like he had to try and grab that under brakes. That's a bit of a lock up there.
It
Slides.
had a big chatter going.
Crutcher left him plenty of room. That's unfortunately, he's come down the inside. Looks
Hollinger
like he's
did a
lost
good job
control of the car.
Yeah,
he
locked up the rear.
He slid it into Crutcher, so that's unfortunate for Mark Crutcher there. The others have got around nicely. I'm just glad there wasn't more damage on that one, where we have seen them, when they're a lot closer together, make a lot of contact and cause a few cars to have to do a journey through pits for some minor repairs. Yeah, that bonnet's barely holding on, so that's very unfortunate for him.
I think he's just sneaked in that pit window.
He might have actually. Oh, no, because it's lap 8. They haven't completed lap 8.
No, Heyman just needs to start the 8th lap. So, pit window should be open. All right, so Colt is in. Collie is in to hand over to Elliot Barber. Jordan Cox getting in the 4. Danny Reedy's in. They're doing that tyre change front to rear.
So minimum 90 seconds stopping there as well. So minimum 90 seconds stop. And you can see there's some nervous drivers down there waiting for their moment where they'll have time to talk to us, because who's going to take advantage of the early pit window? Tyler Cheney, what do? He's running numbers out there. He's keeping up with Josh Haynes. He's only a couple of tenths a second off him. Are you worried about your 20,000? Because really the closest person to that is Graham Cheney behind him. That means we'll see Brett Nile get in the car. The single drivers, we haven't seen them come in yet, really, and take their 90-second stop. Coxie's back out there now. Jordan Cox in the number 4 Crutcher Developments car in 12th position, and I'm sure he'll be wanting to put the pedal to the metal as well. We've seen the aggression that he's shown throughout any form of racing he's been part of. There's Collier. Well, it's Barber, Elliot Barber now back behind the wheel of the 63, just going past Jason Pride.
So Pride hasn't pitted, so Pride's actually up in the 8th position. So Elliott's just unlapped himself there. So Pride still yet to pit. Heyman and Haynes continue on as Jared Hughes was just coming off pit lane. So as they start cycling here, and they've got to get that change, that pit stop done by lap 16. So Heyman continues on. Haynes going with him. There's the 2nd place Haynes. The gap is 2.5 seconds.
So keeping in mind, transport time, a perfect 90-second stop will take about 2 minutes and 1 second to go through. So we're going to start looking at these times as they go around to see how they're going with that undercut. So shortened race now. As you can see, the laps have been cut back, obviously without delayed coverage.
How does that go with Heyman and Haynes?
17 laps. So
they haven't pitted. Heyman and Haynes.
They're going to have to come in soon, because I don't know if the pit window has changed. Maybe with the late change in laps, they have not called that through. We haven't got any information on that, but they'll be getting called from their crews now.
Oh, Ramsey.
Big lock up on the back brake.
And he's in the gravel. And he's well and truly in the gravel. And you can come in under safety car.
This might go down really well for Heyman and Haynes. I'm just trying to see where they are out on track at the moment, because quick time and the Man of Steel, where are they, and will they get in? Will there be a safety car with his beached as over there as well? The main round's in the 71. Just having a look.
This could be a game changer. This could be a game changer.
Brad Gardner's going to get a move done there. It's Prosser a bit further
I think that there was the McAllister car
That's
on pit
beat,
lane.
but is it out of the way? Is it going to bring out the safety car? We are watching the screens at the moment. Jason Bride getting around in the 14.
He hasn't pitted either. It'll be Jared Hughes and Tyler Cheney.
That's exactly
currently
right.
in the
Here we
6th
go.
position.
He's going to come in. Here we go. He reacts.
Heyman had to. Heyman had to, and Haynes, I'd be very surprised if he hasn't followed him in. Haynes went around again. I think Haynes has kept going.
He has. He's taken over the lead. Now have a look, 1.1 laps behind for Jared Hughes. So that's going to be it's going to be around about the 2 minute 4 or 5 mark. So these guys are going to have to be counting that 90 seconds. They're going to have the stopwatch out and be absolutely perfect. But they've got to swap those wheels on the left-hand side of the vehicle. Dive now for Todd Hazelwood in the 169, and I think Rusty might have got out of that car, and 10K might have got back behind the wheel, possibly.
That's for 14th and 15th.
No, Rusty
so
Wright's still
way
in there. It's not really going to show. It's more about Jared Hughes at the moment.
I think that was Haynes in the back of shot coming out of the final corner.
It's more
on pit lane. Haynes is on pit lane.
So it's more about, does he get out in front of Hughes at the moment? Heyman, there's Hughes. You can see him. Let's stay glued to this. And does he get out and get enough momentum to hold on to the lead? I think he will.
Heyman will maintain the lead.
One more lap and we'll find Graham Cheney's car with Zach Bates behind the wheel in the background too. So
and he's on a charge. He's going purple in the sector, Zach Bates. Haynes won't be too far away from leaving here.
The spotter in front. Now the spotter has to get back over the yellow line too before the car leaves. So be waiting to give him the radio signal. The Herzog man of steel. Oh, imagine the nerves inside that car right now. He knows Heyman will be charging down.
It was about a 2.5 second gap between Heyman and Haynes. It was about 2.5 to 3 seconds. Heyman had a lockup.
But he's on the main straight. Is he? No,
not on the main straight. Here comes Haynes.
Now he's got a speed limit.
Heyman onto the main straight. Heyman onto the main straight. This is going to be close. I think Heyman's going to have the advantage.
Well, he's on a big run. He did have a lockup just before, but Josh Haynes has to stick to the speed limit in there. And Heyman's going to make it happen. Will Josh Hughes get him though? The big undercut. Oh, it's hurt Haynes.
Well, it was about a 2.5 to 3 second disadvantage from Haynes to Heyman, but Hughes has jumped Haynes in that pit stop cycle and maintains that points lead for the $20,000.
Wow, listen to those tyres.
Hughes was quicker again on the last lap. Now, is it the last lap board now?
Final lap now for our TA2 muscle cars. $20,000 up for grabs, all thanks to TFH Hire and Hi-Tec Steel Framing.
Hughes down to 2.1 seconds. He's taken 4/10 out of Heyman. There's the gap first to second. Haynes just out of background and shot. He is 3 seconds down on Jared Hughes. They have a very, very good race car. And look, my star of the weekend, Hughes has done an amazing job, but Tyler Cheney, unbelievable, 17 years of age.
If I'm Graham Cheney, I'm worried that I've got to hand my car over to my son at this point.
It's going to have to happen at some stage, isn't it?
Super impressive to come out here in a car that's a lot bigger than the 86 that he's just started competing in 2024.
And there's no doubt Heyman is going to pick up the Hypercoil Hard Charger Award as well, with a couple of brand new Hypercoil springs as part of the AC Dalco prize that's about to come to him on the last lap. But yeah, like Tyler Cheney's done just an unbelievable job. Nobody has passed more cars than Tom Heyman this weekend.
In the season?
Just about in the season, you'd have to argue about it because, man, has he passed some cars this weekend.
There were 22 cars in the field yesterday, 21 positions. He made that hard charge through. Have a look, though. Jared Hughes, well, he's in the points lead for the weekend. Tommy Heyman, though, looking for the $5,000 AC Delco tool pack to take home after having an issue in his first race and losing a lot of... got a DNF there, which is why we saw him start off the back of the grid yesterday. This one's going to go right down to the wire with only a few corners left to run. Heyman leading the race. Jared Hughes leading the weekend on points with Tyler Cheney. Just hold your breath for this one. He's not going to catch him as long as Heyman can hold on to this.
I don't think
Will he bring it home?
Think he'd be too worried
Is he
about
going to slide it out of the final quarter? No, he keeps it under control. And big round of applause to Tommy. Quick time Heyman there gets himself a race win in the endurance. Jared Hughes and Tyler Cheney, I tell you what, $20,000 looks like it's coming their way. All thanks to TFH Hire. And Hi-Tec still framing, but look at the hugs down there, and that is for Tommy Heyman after a gearbox change this weekend. A few other small issues there. They have worked super hard. Queensland Raceway was a tough one for him, and the family exhilarated down there, hugging in pit lane. So excited to take this final win as he gets the #1 spot. It was Jared Hughes and Tyler Cheney who came in second and takes out the round win and the $20,000, all thanks to TFH Hire and Hi-Tec and AC Delco combined. Then it's Haynes there. Josh Haynes will continue his championship fight in third position. Goes back to Zach Bates and Graham Cheney, who will still remain in second position in the championship for Graham. Then it's Hoy and Hollinger in fifth. Fantastic result for them. Cox and Crutcher in sixth. Barber Collier, Gardner Brook with a big fight back in the Hi-Tec Oars 22. Thomas and Hazelwood, they did do a little bit of a pit lane run there for a minute, so I don't exactly know what happened. Great to see Coulter after yesterday's incident back up into 11th as well. 10K and Wright in 16th with some major damage. They had to come in and get repaired, and he ended up losing the bonnet off that. Unfortunately, Hayden Jackson in 20th, well, he had to retire from the race with a big front end damage there in the 81. That is super unfortunate there. I tell you what, pretty exciting to see these young guns, Jared Hughes and Tyler Cheney, with the big smiles. That's probably the least amount of experiences we've got out there in the crew.
$20,000 richer for taking out the event. Congratulations, Tyler Cheney and Jared Hughes. Tyler, it was a crazy, crazy weekend. You stuck it to the old man a couple of times.
Yeah, it definitely did. He deserved it. Nah, it was definitely, good fun. He's very polite, you could say. But, no, it was good fun.
Jared bringing it home there in that slightly shortened Enduro. Man, it was a wild, wild race from start to finish.
It was a bit wild. I couldn't believe we were watching the timesheets when he went out, and we're like, we got the wrong bloke in the car. He's absolutely flying. But no, it's been an absolutely unreal weekend. Can't thank the PhD team and the rest of my guys enough for doing all this, and Tyler for doing an absolutely awesome job for his first weekend in a TA2 car. So, no, we're stoked, absolutely stoked.
Brilliant stuff. Congratulations. I know that you're going to have a party tonight. Enjoy. Mel, here with second place.
Zach Bates bringing it home in P2, a shorter stint than you were expecting.
Yeah, I think it was shorter than we were all expecting, but nonetheless, it was a fun weekend. Congratulations to the 118 car. They did a good job all weekend. So we put some different boots on it then, and it was a whole lot better. So I can't thank Graham, Paul, and everyone from the team for giving me this opportunity to come and drive. I feel very very stoked to be able to come do these kind of things. So it was a fun weekend.
Fantastic effort, thank you. And Graham Cheney, P2, fantastic effort by yourself, but a proud dad moment as well.
Oh, 100%, yeah. I'd like to have a young bloke. If you're going to get beaten by anyone, it's good to have a young bloke do it. At the age of 16, it's unreal.
Is it going to be awkward now at the dinner table?
Nah, I don't think so, yeah. We are pretty competitive, but it's really good.
Yeah, fantastic effort, well done. Back to you, Jared.
Third place for the round, Mark Crutcher and Jordan Cox. Congratulations, guys. It was a crazy, crazy 2 days, and the car has definitely got some extra miles on the odometer now.
Yeah, it was a big couple of days. The car held up. The team, can't thank Paul Hadley enough before we do any more. He's the one that brought this team together. First, second and third for the team. Just enormous. And thanks to Coxie, obviously, got one of the best drivers in the country with me.
Mate, he's all praise, but were there ever any tense moments there on the driver changes?
No, it's all good. We trust each other, so we know how to do it. So, yeah, what a great weekend. Like, super happy for the IES team. So, it's 1, 2, 3. They've put a lot to get the team together. You run a 4-car team, it's a decent operation. It's disappointing to see the boss, Paul Hadley, have an incident in that one, and we get to share the spoils. So, it is what it is. But, hey, thanks to Crutch again for letting me drive his yellow rocket. So, it's always fun driving TA2. So, it's been a great weekend.
Fantastic stuff. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, lads.
Tom Heyman, congratulations. Finally, you're a P1.
Yeah, obviously it was a pretty cool race. Controlled it from the start to the finish. So it's what we wanted all weekend. Again, the boys did an amazing stop. Just want to say happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
We were just saying before, we think you've probably passed more cars this weekend than most people do in a season.
Yeah, there was quite a few. I think it ended up being in the 30s. So, no, it was a good weekend. Obviously, the car had a lot of pace and stoked to end up P1 in there.
Brilliant job.
Cheers, thank you.
We'll be back at Winter Motor Raceway on October 4th to 6th in just a few weeks' time. Make sure you stay tuned for that one. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time at the Hi-Tec Oil Super Series.